But the question is, what do you do when you actually make a mistake? How do you recover from that mistake? Are you going to be a leader that leads by example and shows that it is okay to make a mistake and you pick yourself up and you keep on going? Or are you going to be someone who dwells on the mistake that you make, which then compounds the mistake into something else that is not a desired outcome? What's going on, aspiring school leader? I am Dr. Donovan Smalls II, and welcome to Beyond the Classroom. I help aspiring school leaders land their first leadership role, navigate complex dynamics, enhance communication skills, and drive instructional excellence. I know you're enjoying this episode, but I wanted to let you know about my latest book, Beyond the Classroom, helping aspiring school leaders navigate interpersonal and organizational complexities for greater instructional impact. Now, this book is going to help you navigate the learning curve as you transition from being a classroom teacher to a school leader, manage your busy schedule and reclaim your time to effectively be an instructional leader, take a holistic approach towards school leadership, and increase your instructional impact by fostering a school culture of feedback and coaching. So if you are an aspiring school leader looking to be an effective practitioner, head over to my website and grab your copy today. Today's topic is your first leadership mistake: how to recover with grace and grow. When thinking about this episode and this topic, as an aspiring school leader, what you'll realize when you first step into your first leadership role is that you have so many responsibilities and things that you are going to be assigned to do that you might make a mistake. And that is okay. That is not to say that you don't need to be diligent in your work. That is not to say that you don't need to plan. That is not to say that you don't need to communicate if you feel overwhelmed. But it is to say that you are not a perfect being, and none of us are. We are all imperfect. We are all imperfect leaders. We are trying our best to get it right. We are trying our best to support student learning. We are trying our best to support teachers. We're doing everything that we can in terms of what we know to do. However, there are going to be times where you do make a mistake. You are human. We are human, and it does happen. But the question is, what do you do when you actually make a mistake? How do you recover from that mistake? Are you going to be a leader that leads by example and shows that it is okay to make a mistake and you pick yourself up and you keep on going? Or are you going to be someone who dwells on the mistake that you make, which then compounds the mistake into something else that is not a desired outcome? You have to ask yourself, are you going to be someone who makes a mistake and then is able to properly bounce back? Or are you going to make a mistake and then continue the snowball effect of doing things the wrong way because you're so focused on perfection? And sometimes when it comes to being leaders, we have this trend of perfectionism. We think that we are not effective leaders if we make a mistake, if we do something that was undesirable, if we do something that, here's the thing, sometimes we make mistakes and nobody else knows that it is a mistake, but it's only us that knows. And then we just continue to beat ourselves up about it. We have to be leaders that are going to be self-reflective enough to learn from our mistakes, even when we make them, because they are going to happen. So today I want to talk about 4 keys in terms of recovering from your mistakes with grace and in a way that allows you to grow. And number 1 is own it without over apologizing. There's 2 parts to that, right? When I think of making a mistake, let's say it's a scheduling issue where you were supposed to provide a substitute for a teacher that was going to be out, and you somehow, some way, it slipped through the crack, right? Own the fact that you made a mistake. Acknowledge the fact that you did something, or that it just slipped your mind, or that you did not dot all of your I's and cross all of your T's. Acknowledge all of that. Dodging responsibility is not what you want to do. You want to take responsibility and accountability just like how you would want others to do the same thing. However, you don't want to necessarily over apologize just to keep the peace with other people. Be confident in who you are. Apologize when you are wrong. Correct your mistakes. Hold yourself accountable. Allow other people to hold you accountable as well. But when you are constantly over apologizing and making it known that you are sorry, sometimes those words can fall on deaf ears, meaning what is the action that is going to come as a result of you learning from that mistake? So I want you to apologize. I want you to hold yourself accountable to high standards and expectations. That's what you want to do. Because if you're not holding yourself to those high standards and expectations, you cannot expect other people to hold, or you cannot hold other people to those same high standards and expectations. You have to model what it is that you want to see. However, at the end of the day, you have to be someone who is firm in who you are, that allows you to apologize and move on. Move on to the next play. Move on to the next thing, right? New leaders, when you step into that role, you don't want to deflect blame or apologize excessively in hopes of smoothing things over, because sometimes that can also ruin your credibility and confuse other people. So again, I want you to acknowledge your misstep. Do it in a way that is confident. Communicate your plans to address it, and then move forward. So number one was own it without over apologizing. Number two, reflect on the root, not just the result. Fixating on the fallout without identifying the cause is a common mistake. In the moment, when you make a mistake, if you do something wrong, if you did not thoroughly investigate a conflict issue between two students, and you somehow, some way did not provide a restorative conversation with the students that allows them to move on in a cordial manner, I want you to reflect on the root of that. Why didn't you take the time to actually sift through and provide the proper levels of conflict management to help students be on the same page and to be cordial in the hallways? Are there other people that you need to pull into the conversation in terms of a social worker, in terms of a school counselor that can help you become better at having those critical conversations with students that allows them to be on a cordial playing field, even if they have experienced conflict in the past? What can you do in terms of being self-reflective to learn more about the root of the issue and not just focus primarily on the fruit of the issue? We don't want to just focus on the result and what actually happened. We want to get deep into, okay, what actually is going on here in terms of why I didn't address this issue in the way that I should have. Maybe it was because I felt overwhelmed. Maybe it's because I have so many other responsibilities. I have this list of 25 teachers that I need to observe, and I need to also do walkthroughs, and I need to do lunch duty and bus duty and everything else, right? That's not an excuse, but it is to acknowledge the fact that you do have many things you need to do. And maybe that means that you need to start delegating so that you are not solely responsible for handling everything as it relates to your specific grade level, if that's the way that your school is structured. And that gives you the ability to collaborate with other people so that nothing falls through the cracks, so that you don't make that same mistake. So again, reflect on the root, not just the result. Number three, communicate transparently with your team. Hiding the mistake to protect your image is a common mistake that happens. I want you to understand that it's not about you protecting your image. This is about, in terms of you being a school leader, right? This is about you helping students get to where they want to be and supporting teachers to the level that they are improving in their instructional practice. So if you make a mistake, I want you to communicate transparently with your team, because the last thing you want to do is make a mistake in terms of your communication with a parent. And then that issue continues to perpetuate and escalates to your principal or to central office, and you didn't even communicate with your team in terms of what actually happened and what transpired during the conversation. So communicate openly, be transparent, don't be ashamed, right? I think the root of getting past the mistakes that we make has to do with a level of transparency that we have to be able to lead with. Because at the end of the day, you are a part of a team. And if the team does not know what happened, then the team is also going to be affected by the mistake of one person, right? Everybody has to be able to hold their weight. And if someone makes a mistake, but they communicate it with the team, then the team can help rectify the issue. So that is a way that you overcome making a mistake, and you do it with a level of grace. And this is the way that you grow. It's you communicate transparently with other people, and they can back you up in areas where you drop the ball. So I want you to be honest. I want you to be clear, humble, and open to constructive criticism so that you can address the issue moving forward. So number 3 was communicate transparently with your team. And lastly, turn the mistake into a leadership win. You know, one of the things that I've noticed is that you can learn so much from making a mistake. And a lot of times you learn more from making a mistake than you do from actually doing things perfectly, because it gives you a level of understanding from a different perspective, right? If you are someone who is constantly focused on a level of perfectionism, it sometimes can paralyze you to inaction as well. And so if a mistake happens, if you make a mistake, I want you to think about not beating yourself up and missing the level of growth opportunity that is involved in learning from that mistake. Because like I said, you can learn so much from what you should have done compared to doing things right all the time. And it's not that we don't strive to do things right all the time, because we do, but when you make a mistake, you cannot stay there. Use it as an opportunity to grow. Use it as an opportunity to be self-reflective. Use it as an opportunity to communicate with your team and lean into your team a little bit more, to glean a level of insight that you didn't have previously. Lean on the people that you work with. Do not work in isolation. And sometimes that may be a little bit difficult for you, those of you who are introverted, right? And I relate to that because I'm also an introverted person. I would label myself as that, right? But and what that means, right? And what that means is many times we have to do work in isolation in order to then go out with a group of people, with our team, to be effective, right? Some people work better in large groups, but some people work better individually. But if you are an introverted person, if you are somebody who likes to work individually like I am, don't forget the value of the team. You have to also bounce ideas off of other people, because that's when you can avoid those mistakes and be proactive in the way that you are leading. So number 4 was turn the mistake into a leadership win. Document the lesson that you learned, share your growth, and use the experience to become a more grounded, empathetic, and trusted leader. The way that you become a more trusted leader, even if you make a mistake, is by learning from the mistake and leading with a level of humility. That's what it's about. Building trust with other people. I don't want you to internalize failure and let it shake your confidence. Don't see a mistake as a setback, but instead look at it as a stepping stone. See, these are some of the principles that I'm teaching in my 8-week coaching program called Elevate Your Impact. And if you're serious about stepping into school leadership with confidence, with clarity, with a level of understanding that is going to position you for the promotion and for the career shift that you deeply desire, reach out, send me a DM, send me an email, visit my website so that we can work together to get you to where you ultimately want to be. I don't want you to continue to be on this hamster wheel of trying to land your first leadership role and just thinking that it's going to happen by osmosis. Like, there is some planning here. There is some coaching here. There is some mentorship here. And I would not have gotten to the place where I currently am as a school leader if I didn't have the coaching and the coaching and the mentorship that allowed me to see the areas where I needed to improve, that allowed me to see what was already in me, but it took someone else to help pull it out. And so that's what I do in our one-on-one coaching sessions. It's to help you see yourself, the greatness that's already in you, but also provide you with a level of insight and practical strategies and skills to help you better position yourself for the promotion that you're looking for. And if that's you, if you're serious about it, don't hesitate to reach out so we can get you that school leadership role that you deeply desire. As always, I hope you have a great week of teaching, leading, and learning. Take care.
I love that you talked about mindset, because mindset is extremely important as you become a school leader. And so that leads us into our second complexity, which is navigating the learning curve, right? Whenever you are promoted to the next level in your career, you will always begin as a novice. So it doesn't matter that you are an effective classroom teacher, you have raving reviews from your students. Becoming a school leader is a different skill set. And so we need to start teaching aspiring school leaders that it takes a level of emotional intelligence and self-awareness to understand just because you got results doesn't mean you're going to get results here. You need to work at this. And so one of the things I constantly think about is the fact that the learning curve can be steep. As a teacher, I'm walking into the building with a set schedule. As a leader, I might have a set schedule if I'm planning properly, but it might immediately become obsolete as soon as I walk in the building. The learning curve that I had to navigate was I'm walking in the building with my bags on. Teachers are firing questions at me. I haven't even made it to my desk yet. How am I navigating that? With being tactful